I want to thank you again for your support. Thank you again for watching, for tuning in. I want to thank you, Dustin, for coming on to the podcast and telling us your story.
Yes, sir. Glad to be
And
here.
for showing us your burial in the process. We have a lot coming. I think we have one more scheduled for the year. And I think I'll see y'all again next year. I'm not too sure about that yet, but we'll get into Dustin's story. So I'm gonna let Dustin tell us who he is and where he's from, and then we'll get started.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Dustin Schulte. I have a 2016 Hyundai Genesis Coupe that's a little off the regular beaten path from what a lot of people expect. I'm from the Western Kentucky area. Been working on this build for 4 years now. I think it's been running for about 3. But a lot of you may have seen me. I don't know if you have or not. I don't feel like I'm that big of a person, but this is a 2016, like I said, twin turbo LS Genesis Coupe, pushing around 800 horsepower right now. Only has a little 4.8 in it. I had a 6-liter in it up until about September, and come to find out, after the first dyno pull doing twins, all the bearings were shot. So yeah, we ended up doing a full motor swap. Found this 4.8 from a buddy of mine local. Really helped me out, and it was right before Slammed Enough Gatlinburg. And in the 3 days prior, because it took us a day to make sure that I was even going to go through with it because it was going to be a pain, we got the 6-liter out, got the 4-liter tore down, put all of the stuff that we could from the 6-liter into the 4.8, and then finally got all that done a day before we were supposed to leave, and managed to get the 4.8 swapped into the car and everything swapped over into it, dynoed, and loaded on a trailer in literally 24 hours right before the show. So you want to talk? I did not sleep for 4 days. It was absolutely crazy, but man, it was worth it. Slammed Enough, Gatlinburg this year's. I know a lot of people have heard stories about it. Aside from all the junk that went on, the rest of the show was actually pretty good. It's nice. I know a lot of people use that show as see friends that you never get to see, people that you basically call family. But hopefully there's going to be not to get political with it, hopefully there's going to be another show that kind of takes its place. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, enough about me.
So, just to speak on something real quick, I know I don't have the following that they had, right? But I'm hoping the community comes together, because I am trying to. I don't want to say replace it. You can't replace Gatlinburg in a sense, but I would like to create another show going forward that we can control. So my plan is to try to do it indoors, or try to have it somewhere indoors that will, like, the guest is controlled. You can't be in your car inside the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then I am working on it, and I can show you it after we're done with the podcast, because I am going to start talking about it more, because I have plans next year to start doing like 3 meets a year. I don't know if I'm going to do 3 meets a year or 4 meets a year, but I'm trying to build up the community through this podcast. That way I can show people that it's not just a podcast. I want to do car meets. I'm working on something that'll give the car scene an actual home, like a legit its own home. But that might take a while, because it's up there.
It takes
as far as like investment.
It takes some.
So
my understanding of that stuff is it takes a while to kind of get everything gathered around what you need. But I have no doubt that you can do it, man. And the good thing is that there's a lot of people out there that actually support, that can give support. Like even the Slammed Enough people, super great people to work with. The owners are super nice. Even the members of Slammed Enough, most, if not all of them, are super nice. I was welcomed into Slammed Enough really warmly there for a while, and then I was lucky enough to once the car got bagged and now it's wide bodied and everything like that. Um, I was lucky enough to be invited into Stature. So, even the Stature people, which at the time was kind of a branch off of Slam Enough, like your more high end builds and stuff like that. Um, Everybody in the community, in that is super, super nice. Everybody's super helpful. And more often than not, if you ask for anything, somebody's going to lend a hand to help you out with just about anything that you need, personal, business, whatever it may be. So that's the good thing about.
I'm gonna show you though,
Yeah, yeah.
'cause I ain't trying to cut you off,
No,
but,
you're good.
the reason why I say it's up there, I've been doing numbers like crazy work, right?
Hmm.
Because I'm not gonna say if, but when we can make it possible. It will cost a couple $1,000,000 to actually get it up and running,
Hmm.
but when it's there, bro, the way that I'm trying to build it, bro, it's gonna be legit, bro. I can say this much, and then I said it before the many times. I wanna build a drag strip, right?
Hmm.
Drifting picking up real heavy. So, also, with the drag strip, I wanna have a drift track,
Hell yeah, dude.
and then I'm gonna build a cabin. I wanna build a cabin, that way I could bring the podcast to, like, have a home for the podcast area. And then on top of that, the other idea I had for it was to give people somewhere to stay. So say you're going like to a race, like a race weekend, you be there all weekend. Instead of staying off site, you can stay on site. So also have a spot for them to stay at, like the way during competitions they can, just stay there, have a spot to place the cars, have a spot to storage for the car. So that's what I'm working on behind the scenes. So like I said, I'm gonna show you in a little bit. Well, after the podcast, I'll show you it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then you give me your opinion on it, and then we can just go from there.
Sounds like a hell of a project, man. Definitely looking forward to seeing
Oh,
where you run with that because that's going to be wicked. And it's not. There's not a lot
and
of things out there like that. So.
and also that's where the podcast started. So the podcast itself started because I watch a lot of YouTube, right?
Mhm.
But I watch a lot of car YouTubers. Like I watch, you can say DDE, Scrapman, TJ Hunt. What's his name? He 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 owns the drop script in Tampa.
Are
Uh,
you talking about Cletus McFarland with the Freedom Factory and all that, the big circle track? Which he owns
yeah,
a drag.
Cletus. I
Yeah,
watch
he
him.
owns a drag strip down there too. Yeah.
So, but then I'm looking. I'm like, there's no safe spot for the people that's in the car scene, to come and just like talk and just tell like their stories. So that's what this podcast came from that idea. Then I'm like, well, I don't want it to be just a podcast. I want it to be like a legit home for the car scene because we don't have that.
Right. Right.
So then that's when I started thinking about that idea. And I'm like, I know it's a little risky, but with all the benefits from it, I feel like it will be a very great thing for the car community and potentially for people who want to make money on the side. So it's like a double-edged sword. Like, no, well, not in a bad way, but like
Right.
it gives a home to the car scene and it gives home for business partners, for race crews, race leagues, anything like that. It just gives them actually a home too. And if this one is successful, then we can branch out and build it. We can build multiple, not
Yeah.
just
Branch off
not
of it.
just one.
Yeah. You always got to have somewhere to start, man, and that's the big thing is pick you a point and just swing for the stars, man. You're gonna get there eventually. Whether it takes you a year, fucking, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. As long as you kind of like the same thing with cars and stuff like that. Once you pick a point and you set that dream in motion, you just keep going. That's what you got to do.
Big time. And then I always tell myself, if you go dream big. Like never sell, never sell yourself short on anything you got. So I've been told I do the most,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's because, bro, like I, when I got a passion for something, I get very passionate about it. And then I just start to think of what ways can it benefit everybody and not just me. So then I think about, oh, well, if I do this, then I could do this. So that's where this huge idea came from. So that's why I'm trying to get it in motion, and to just for the car scene, you know. And I actually want to speak. So before we get into like everything that I have planned out for the podcast, we can bring it up since you actually was at GAT. That was another huge reason why I'm trying to build this platform and this community. Is because GAT been going for what, 9 years?
It's been a long time. It's been a long time, is my understanding.
And I always say, bro, like people do not understand the work behind the scenes that go to something to build something like that, bro. Like it's not something you can put together overnight and oh, it's just been got. That was something that was huge for the car scene. I mean, like huge for the car scene.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it was one of the biggest shows, especially on this side of the states. That everybody, it didn't really matter. Like, yeah, it's slammed enough. You're got your stanced out cars and stuff like that's the main thing. That's kind of what, but it didn't matter what you drove. Everybody was welcome there, and
for sure,
like I said earlier, you've got people coming from way up north, way south. That I talked to some people that drove from Washington State
I actually
all the way over to
had
Gatlinburg.
some friends from Florida.
Yeah,
Draw the drop the
yeah. I mean, you're looking at people from California, Washington State, Florida, and New York. Like it didn't matter where you were based out of. Everybody went to it, and everybody saw it as a chance to see friends that you haven't seen all year. Um, and just the amount of effort that people put in just to get ready for Gatlinburg. Like it's people take all year just to make sure that their car is up to par for where they want it to be at, just to go park with some friends and hang out and stuff like that. Like it's crazy the amount of effort that I've
it is,
seen.
bro.
And no, I've only gotten to go to it. I think my first year was 22, which was the first year that this thing was running on a turbo setup. So that was my first year going, and it was an absolute blast. And I've wanted to go, every year since. But here we are, man. So it's just one of those things. You kind of it sucks to lose something like that for the community, but
Big time.
all you can do is take the hit and keep going forward. Trust that
And
something good's going to come. Something good is going to come from it eventually.
eventually, bro, but you know, it's I feel like that's why the car scene is being painted the way it is now. Because if you're being truthful, a lot of people out there into certain parts of the car scene, but they're not really like car enthusiasts as like we are.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I say, yeah. So when you put that crowd into something like a Gatlinburg, they don't understand like the significance that
Yeah,
has for the car scene. They just there to get clout, or they there just to try to get a moment or to go viral, but they just don't understand the work, bro, it put into building something that special. And bro, I hate it because I was supposed to go to GAT this year too. To be honest, I was supposed to go to GAT, but life took a huge turn. But it just sucked to see somebody work that hard for something and that fast is taken from them because of a certain crowd.
yeah. A lot.
So
It's just
now you killed.
it's upsetting what it's turned into. You know,
Mhm.
a lot of people that have been in the scene for a long time, are leaving because of what it's turned into. And the bad thing is that there's not really any controlling it at this point. Everyone wants their, I say everyone from that crowd wants their 15 seconds of fame because they think it's going to get them something. And people that haven't worked on anything like this or any of the numerous other builds that people have years and years invested to, that's not something they've ever done, and it's not something that they're going to do. They're just doing it, like you said, clout and attention, which is, it's upsetting.
And I would say this much. That's why I'm so passionate about what I'm trying to do going forward. Because as you just said, there's no control over it. So not if, I gotta stop saying if. So when, I make that dream become a reality, now we have control on who can come in,
Hmm.
on what goes down, what doesn't go down. Now we get to we can control the narrative and show the car scene for what the car scene really is because everybody painted in such a bad picture and it's not bad at all. It's just like everything in life. You go have them bad seeds. That's something you just can't stop.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But yeah, you just can't stop that. But if God, stop saying that. When we get to that point where, like that's built, I ain't got a name for it yet. Like I said, I'm still working on that.
Hmm.
But when we when we do build that, and I want everybody to feel like they are part of that. That's why I share it with everybody who I talk to. Cause it's not ideal for me, it'd be an ideal for everybody. Like, if you see something that you think I should add or something I should change up, let me know. That way, like I build it strictly for the people who respect the car scene. And then it'll truly give the car scene a home that we're like, hang out like we got a side just for car meets, like a good parking side for car meets. We got a showroom full for like car shows. We have all of that in one spot, but we control the narrative and we can control who comes in and who don't come in.
Right.
And to be to be fair, you can see what crowd somebody in by the way they drive or just by the way they handle themselves with cars. So like, just going forward, like I said, we can't stop it, but we can for sure get a car scene a home because it's never had one, if we're being honest. So it'll be a first, but I definitely look forward to making it happen strictly for the car scene because you meet some beautiful people in the car scene. You see some beautiful bills within the car scene, bro, and I don't want to see that vanish because of a couple bad seats.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And going back, we're both saying, it's something that's happening. It's hard to control. The only way there's not any way to stop it, like we had said. But holding people accountable is about the only way that you're going to be able to slow it down or reverse it. And I feel like after the situation that happened with Gatlinburg, that's really coming to a point that a lot of people are being held accountable for this stuff now. And hopefully it just stays that way because that is the only way that it's going to stop or get turned around. Like you said, there's
Mhm.
always going to be bad seeds. There's bad seeds in every group, no matter what it is. Unfortunately, that's kind of part of life. And especially now with how much social media has a part in our lives and these younger generations, it's crazy. But hopefully
Yeah,
everything hopefully everything gets turned around.
it's like you don't want to say it, but it 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 mainly is. I mean, you have some older folks who's also into it, but it's mainly the younger generation
Yep.
coming up.
Which is it,
Don't
yeah, it sucks.
because I'll say this much: like I don't so I don't support takeovers at all, right? But if you take it to an area where the only people basically are at risk are the ones participating in what y'all doing, go to an empty parking lot. Go somewhere far where you don't bother nobody. Then do it. But don't do it in a dangerous setting where you got people getting impatient and now they just doing anything to get away from the crowd. Now you putting everybody at this. This is so simple to go find an empty parking lot. We have so many. Like the world is so goddamn big, bro. It's always somewhere empty and vacant for you to go have your fun at.
Yeah, don't
Keep it away from the
yeah,
streets.
don't do it in the middle of town.
Yeah,
That's just
like you
common
got so
sense
many
here.
options.
And
Yeah,
you
bro.
seeing that, there's even people that are like taking steps to try to keep it off the streets. Like these people are spending their own money to rent out these big lots, put up barriers and stuff like that, just so that that crowd can do it in a safe
Hmm.
environment or safe, but in an environment that they're the only ones at risk. Do that.
And
Like,
just like off off the record, what being how many of those it is, want y'all just make a group, put your head together, make a
yeah,
group, and just go make a legal pit. It's just that simple. Now
it really is, man.
you can spend freely all. There are so many of them
Hmm.
that just brag about how much money they got, brag about the car they got, brag about the horsepower, brag about all of this, bro. Why don't y'all just put all that common sense and knowledge together and money and just go build y'all a legal pit. That solves
Yeah,
everything.
show up,
Now the cops can't shut y'all
pull all your money together, buy you a few acres of land out in the middle of nowhere, throw some
down.
blacktop
Just
down, and just fence it in. Do whatever you need to do. Leave the gate open. Like here, anytime you want to come. But that's the thing is that
it get
it doesn't give them attention if they do it that way.
mm-mm.
So
So now again, so the social media part is taken away because now it's like, oh well, there's no fun in that. But it's so much fun that now the cops can touch you down. You have free control to do whatever you want. It's your spot, bro. It can all be so simple, bro. But uh, we're gonna switch it up a little bit, get to know a little bit more about you and your start and where you started from. So you did tell me you first started working with your dad on mud trucks. Explain a little bit of that to us.
so one of my core memories, probably one of the only memories I have from a child, because you know I'm getting older and my memory is just garbage. But one of the things that always like comes to the front of my mind, where we live at, we have quite a few nature refuges, um, that you can go drive through. And my dad had this '87 Toyota 4Runner, removable top. We had it lifted and had it on 35s and everything. The complete opposite of what my car is and what I've been kind of a part of. But this memory is we were driving down through there, and like for the first time, now give I was like, I don't know, 3 or 4, capable of doing things on my own, but not tall enough to drive a vehicle by myself. And well, he went down there and he picked me up and put me on his lap and let me drive through the bottoms of the refuge. Um, that is something that always comes to the forefront of my mind. Well, I started out young, working on stuff like that. If something broke, we had to fix it. If we wanted to make it
Mhm.
better, we had to fix it. Um, plenty of shops, but even, I'm 33 now, so you're looking 30 years ago. Even then, stuff was expensive to try to take it to somebody else and have them do stuff for you whenever you have the means and ability to do it yourself. So we would go to mud runs and stuff like that. We would go up to Land Between the Lakes, which is the national reserve here close to us. Um, there's a lot of events out in Missouri that we would go to, kind of like your Trucks Gone Wild stuff. Never went to those. Those get way too big, way too many people. And like I said, this was whenever I was like 10, so you can't. People do it, people do it, but back then people didn't really show up to stuff like that with 10-year-olds. But even talking about like what we were earlier, this was something that these people owned all this land, and they would literally just go dig a trench in the middle of this random field and fill it with dirt and water, and then sit here and call their friends up and have them call their friends, and people would just show up and see who could make it. That's what it was all about. As a childhood, that was a heck of a childhood to have growing up for me.
It was
And like I
for
said,
sure though.
you go out there, you break something, you fix it. You don't take it to somebody else to do it for you. So that's luckily for me, that's where a lot of my mechanical knowledge came from. Why I was able to do a build like what I have is stuff like that. I'm lucky enough that I had my father or my grandfather, you know, people like that around to teach me stuff like that.
See, I didn't grow up around cars, to be honest. Like, so I had no knowledge. And I don't want to say no knowledge. By the time I got into the car scene, me and my brother used to work on like our own cars. So I had a little bit, like, I knew what I was doing to the point of if I, if something did go wrong, I'll call my uncle. My uncle basically owned his own shop. Well, not own his own shop, but he a mechanic. He been doing it for the last, I want to say like 10 plus
Hmm.
years, I want to say. So if something did go wrong, the only thing we would do is just call my uncle, but hey, I did this. What's next? So we kind of learned ourselves on hand how to fix cars because for us growing up, bro, it was straight basketball. I mean, like from sun up to sundown basketball. I can get if you got on punishment or got in trouble like when we was younger, we didn't do nothing. We didn't go to parties. We didn't care about going to the mall or going with our homeboys because our homeboys too play basketball. So growing up, the only thing our parents could take from us was basketball.
Yeah, yeah.
By the time I got into the car scene, basketball started to fall off a little bit. I know now how to work on cars because I do my into my car break, I work on my car by myself. I don't go nobody to do it because I can do it by myself. But everything we learned though was like self taught. Like we didn't really like grow up into it like that. So I'm still on the fence of learning a lot about car.
Man, that is a never ending process learning what to do and when to do it. Luckily, luckily we have things like YouTube now. So,
Big
well,
time.
it's been around for a while, and with we've got there's forums out there for all this stuff. Um, and I hate to say that we're kind of in a time where there's not a whole lot out there that hasn't been done to an extent whenever it comes to cars. So there's always a video or a forum or a write up somewhere that you can kind of look up, or you can just, you know, kind of swing for the fence and hope for the best. But honestly, that's the best way to learn, man. It's just get out there and do it. That's I
It is.
I say I grew up with people that could help me learn, but they helped me learn. They didn't do it for me, kind of thing. Best thing to do. And I've again, you go to shows and people ask you how hard was it or this or that. You know, my answer is about the same every time. I was like, listen, man, you can do anything that you can put your mind to do, but you just have to do it. You have to take the time, put the initiative in, and there's, like I said, YouTube is a lifesaver whenever, and
Oh, big time.
so 100%, anything can be done if you tell yourself you can do it. Just have to take the time to do it.
For sure. And not all, but some people don't. Some people won't believe in it, or they don't keep that passion. If it get too hard for them, they back out. But I feel like when it gets too hard, that's when it's the most challenging.
Hmm.
That's when you can really see like how smart you is or how good you are at something when you don't give up on it.
Yeah, that's the point that you have to just once it starts getting hard. Like with me, I hate electrical stuff. Absolutely terrible at
Bro,
it. Absolutely terrible at it. But you know, it gets to a point you're like, listen, I don't know where this white wire goes. I don't know what to do with it. And then it comes to a point that you just have to. Sometimes you have to guess. I mean, you really do. You can kind of put common sense into it to an extent, and then you just kind of have to take a guess and hope that it works. It's either going to work or you're going to burn your car down. There's two extremes there. So it just depends on how far you want to go with it. But that,
hey, once you all in, bro, you all in.
yeah, that's the only way to be, man. Only way to be.
And so over the years, gradually, you switched from mud trucks to motorcycles and cars. So tell us about the motorcycle aspect of your life.
My dad had a motorcycle whenever I was growing up. It was like a '97 Ninja 600. Oh, a lot of this stems back from whenever I was a kid, and I guess it just took a little while to catch up. Stuff like that has always been something that I enjoyed. I had buddies after high school that had motorcycles too. One day I just up and decided I was like, I guess I'm gonna go get my motorcycle license, and I found this motorcycle that I wanted, and just took the jump and did it. Uh, Taught myself how to ride, and then taught myself how to ride better riding with other people. Um, that has been I've been riding for, I rode dirt bikes and stuff as a kid too, so that helps. But dirt to street is two completely different things. So the speed, the speed aspect, I feel like kind of speaks for itself. Man, I am an adrenaline junkie whenever it comes down to it. I'm ADHD to the max. I've had the meds and everything growing up to try to keep it under control, and it just never did. the adrenaline, man, motorcycle riding motorcycles. Let me back up a little bit. Riding motorcycles is probably one of the most freeing things that I've ever done in my life. And I'm not saying this to advocate for someone to go out there and just grab like a 600cc or a 1000cc motorcycle and go out there and get themselves hurt at all. Don't do that. Yeah, you have to take precautions whenever you're doing this stuff. I've had a lot of situations that were near death or close. You know, riding motorcycles, it's not an if, it's a when you're going to go down. And that is every person that I've ever talked to. There's always, it's a win. Like it's going to happen. It's just how fast are you going to be going? What gear are you going to be riding whenever it happens? I've had a wreck or two. I think I've had two. Oh no, I have had two. Yeah. So it is the most freeing thing that I've ever done in my life is being on two wheels. You know, you don't have doors around you. You don't have windows you can roll up and down. You don't have heat or AC or anything. Like it's just you and this 100 horsepower machine between your legs that it feels like you're a rocket just ready to go to space. And topping something like that out, again, I don't advocate this at all. Find a closed course, find a track somewhere if you're going to do stuff. But you know, we've all been young and stupid, and you know that adrenaline rush whenever you're sitting there running. The fastest that I've ever been was 184 miles an hour, and that was on two wheels.
My picture was flying.
Dude, the dotted lines on the interstate become solid lines whenever you're going that fast. The bugs that hit you, you know, you're crouched. I had a sport bike, so you know you're crouched down behind a windscreen and everything like that. But bugs that hit you feel like nails going into your shoulders and stuff like that. The adrenaline rush of getting there is crazy. Like your blood's pumping and you're just sitting there. You're not shaking yet because it's still building up. But whenever you hit it and you realize what you're doing, and then you're like, oh shit. Like if I hit a rock wrong at this speed, like it's done. And the come down from that, I've only done that twice. I was going to say once, but twice because I did get into some trouble there at one point in my life. So I've only done that twice, and I have like it scratched the itch. Like I have no desire to do that again. That's how crazy it is. But it's kind of the same way with cars, man. You know, started out with trucks and stuff as I was a kid because that's what my dad was into, and then progressed to like dirt bikes and stuff as I was younger. And I feel like once you get the taste or something like that, it's kind of like drugs. You know, it's never enough, and you just keep chasing it.
Mhm.
That's I mean that's really what it is. You know, I just slowly progressed into stuff that was faster and faster and faster, and now with this, I've kind of turned it around a little bit. I've gotten older, and I realized that I can't handle going as fast as what I did whenever I was younger. So now, I mean, we're on bags. Now, we're still making 800 horsepower, but the thing's not made for fast corners and stuff like that like it used to be. So we'll see how that goes because I've had some other things in my mind to try to get back to the aspect of let's see how quick we can go, but we'll see what happens.
That'd be dope.
We'll see what happens.
So I've been um I've been debating it, not really debating it, but I had a talk with a few good friends because the podcast really started for like cars, right? But when I thought about it, I'm like, you always see motorcycles at car meets.
Mhm.
I'm like, then you have people who have both. They have a car and they have a motorcycle. I'm like, so I want to start opening up doors for actually the motorcycle people to actually come to the podcast and tell their story also, because in a way, not in a way, we both still share that same passion, whether it's a bike or a car. You still have a lot of people who got into bikes, who was into cars and switched to bikes, or who is into both, or you got one that just into motorcycles. But I'm like, this community shouldn't be just for cars because it's a spot for like just anybody chasing like like you say, bro, adrenaline, because cars give you that, but I feel like motorcycles might give it to you a little more because of how free it is, like you said. I was just thinking, that I'm gonna start doing bikes too, because I want them also to feel like they also have a home. Because, like I say, bro, in any meet I went to, I've always seen motorcycles,
Right. And there's
and then you have people.
yeah,
So it's just something that I wanted to do for them as well. And then it'd be nice too to hear their story and to hear the story of bike because I want to get into bikes. Actually, I want a bike. I stay in Florida, and bro, people out here cannot drive, bro.
no,
I mean,
not at all.
so that's the only thing that scares me when it comes to getting a bike is the way that people drive down here, bro. Like that's the only thing. That's the only reason why I'm hesitant on getting a bike is because of the drivers, bro. But other than that, bro, I want a bike. I want to feel. I want to try to just experience having a bike on the one and riding it. I want to experience that. So I am going to start doing bikes too. So then that way, this community isn't just biased to cars. And hell, one day even trucks too,
Mhm.
because it's all the same passion, just in a different form.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
And the whole
So
the getting a bike thing, you know, I 100%. I will tell anybody that asks, as far as getting one, go get it. Get you one. Whether you want to. Now, I tend to kind of waver to the safer side of things. Now, I've had a lot of people ask, well, what should I start on? I found this 1K down the road. I'm like, don't one, you don't need a 1000cc bike, especially if you're just starting out. And honestly, if you've been riding for 20 years, you don't need a 1000cc bike. You're never going to use it. You are never going to use that bike to its potential on the streets. Ever.
mm-mm.
I've had 600s. I settled on 750s for a long time just because I'm a taller guy. Like I had Suzuki's and they fit taller people a lot better. That 750 never used all of its potential on the street. Honestly, you can go out and get you a 400RR or a 400R or something like that from Kawasaki. And my friend had one for a long time, tested it out, and then my girlfriend got one, ended up getting a 400R, and that was one of the best street bikes that I'd been on. It was a blast. And, it's small, it's not very fast. You're topping out at like 100 miles an hour, but the controllability of it, how stable it was, and everything like that. Honestly, I would go out and buy me one right now just to have to to screw around town with. You can go hit twisties and stuff like that on the weekends, and then ride it to work Monday. These bigger bikes, a lot of people they think more is better, and that's just really not the case. And like you said, especially with how the public treats motorcycle riders these days, nobody watches what they're doing.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, nobody watches what
Mm-mm.
they're doing. Nobody cares about the other people that are on the road. They just care about themselves. And as a motorcycle rider, you're going to get blamed for anything,
For
for
everything,
whatever happens. It doesn't matter if it was somebody else's blatant fault or not. And
bro.
there's just so much that goes into it, man. Like you have to be so aware riding, even comparing now to what it was 10 years ago. Whenever I was, had my own bikes and stuff like that, like you have to be so much more aware now than even then because people just don't care. They don't pay attention, and I don't know, man. But still, 100%, 100% go get a bike because you're never gonna go back. You're never gonna go back, man. It's crazy.
I
It's
do want to
crazy
get
how
one,
fun.
bro.
I'm telling you.
Me and my brother keep talking about. We keep talking about doing it. We just haven't done it yet or getting a license. But I think next year for sure. I think next year I'm gonna get done for sure next year. Cause why not?
That's how it starts, man. Why not? We're here already, so why not?
Cause we used to have the little when we was younger. My mom used to buy like the little pocket rockets,
Yeah.
the little small ones.
Mhm.
Bro, we used to love them shits, bro. At that age, it felt fast. But we had like three at one time, bro. And we would get on them, bro. We'd just go riding, bro. Now at first, like it's small,
Yeah.
but them shits was so fun, bro. So I can only imagine it and the adult size. Like I'm pretty, bro. It gotta be like 10 times funnier than that. But you got into the car seat. You told me because of the Genesis, right? Like explain your welcome in a car seat.
Like how I got into it and everything.
Yeah, I'm like, did you feel like accepted, or like was it like let me better phrase it. Was the car seat accepting when you first got into it, or did you have your challenges?
Um, I feel like I feel like it was pretty welcoming whenever I got into it. You know, I live in um, a part of the states. Like I said, I'm in Western Kentucky, and drag racing is really big around here. So having a Korean car, a V6 at that, or a rice burner, that's what everybody calls them, and I feel like that's pretty nationwide for you know Japanese or Korean cars like that. Now, there's not really any good. I feel like the Genesis Coupe was like the first legitimate like sports car that was Korean based. That's probably not true, but it's the first one that comes to mind for me. And you start going to shows, you start going to here, you go to the drag strip, you go to these little meets and everything like that, and you kind of branch out from there. I feel like for the most part, it was pretty welcoming. I didn't really get heavy into it, you know, until I started this project. Like you put wheels and lowering springs and basic stuff like that. I did the headlights on the car, messed with the taillights a little bit, but for the most part, I didn't do anything crazy until that factory motor gave out, and then I started this. So,
Okay,
and even then, um, I've known people for years that had cars and stuff like that. They get you to go places. I had a buddy from when I was in college. He had a 350Z that he ended up turboing and stuff like that. I would go to shows with him. Um, I've never really, luckily, had any major challenges, like any roadblock or anything like that. And I feel like for the most part, no, I can't even say for the most part because I see horror stories about stuff like that all the time, where people like to gatekeep information and they like to block people from getting into like certain scenarios and stuff like that. There's a lot of gatekeepers out there, which kind of sucks. Me personally, I never really had any issues. Now again, I was just going to basic cars, like little meets here and there, basic car shows like Import Alliance and stuff like that. Um, with my car, that was pretty basic. Now, once we started with this, that kind of opened up a lot of doors because the community as a whole right now, I feel like really looks at how much you've put into your car and what all you've done to it. There's some pretty simplistic builds out there that are absolutely amazing, like these restoration products that people have, um, that they're keeping basically stock. Kind of modern touches and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, my entrance into the car scene was pretty smooth. Never had any issues that I can remember. So lucky me, I guess, because I know there's a lot of stories out there that get
yeah,
hounded all the
it's
time, like, oh, wheels and blower and springs don't make a build. To an extent, I I feel like I'm going to be an asshole if I say this, but I do kind of agree to an extent. But I'm also not the asshole that's going to block somebody from getting into something because I remember where I started.
right.
You have to start.
Mhm.
You have to start somewhere, and if you're stopping people from even starting, then what's going to happen to our community in 5 years or 10 years, even a year? I mean, if you're telling
Yeah.
people, wheels, wrap, and lowering springs don't make a build, I mean, yeah, you're right, but don't knock people for starting somewhere. Now, there's people out there that will die on the top of a mountain that's saying that their car's the best because they put wheels and lowering springs and wraps on it.
So I just we just had a podcast where it's the first 5 guests, right? So I try to do that like every set of people. I try to bring a few on together, and basically I do the same thing that we're doing now. And I was talking to them about it. So I thought the car scene it has opened up a third avenue, because like over time everything branches out. I thought the car scene and I thought today's car scene is starting a new branch. I want to say now, based off the old standard of the car scene, not to be a dick, you can be correct when you say a bill isn't reals, low experience in the rap, all
Mhm.
right? But I feel like that's the not really the old standard. That's still basically what the car scene was. I just feel like in today's scene, and I could be wrong, but this is just how I see it. You have built like with a D, like a bill,
Mhm.
then you have built with a T. I thought you can't say you have like a built car without doing anything internally to like the engine of some sort, or like a wide body kit, right?
Right, 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 right.
I fight I fight that crowd is in the built crowd, like you would be like in the crowd that's built because of what you did to the engine, the wide body kit, right?
Mm.
But then I feel like the car scene just opened up a new avenue of bills personally, just based off the cosmetics, the reels, the wrap, the lower springs. It could even be the front lip spoiler. I feel like on that tip, just in the way the scene is going in today, I feel like it did kind of open up a new avenue that people are going towards because then I say that too because not a lot of people in it for speed. Like they know like their car isn't the fastest, it can't be the fastest, it won't be the fastest. So I feel like they got into it just because they want to build a car that just look good.
Yeah, 100%.
So
And
I gotta say,
let me
go ahead.
let me see. I said I was going to sound like an asshole whenever I said that, and I knew that's what was going to happen. But I am one.
No, I apologize. It's not.
No, no, you're good.
It's
You're
not
good.
an asshole though.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah.
I want to. I just want to clarify. I am like you. I agree with what you're saying. 100%. You have builds where people have dropped thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and thousands of hours of time into making their car
Yeah.
exactly what they want it to be. And then you have builds, you know, you've got, okay, let me say this. You've got stance builds, you've got performance builds, you've got builds that mesh all of it together. Like, I feel like whenever I started this car, the only thing I was looking for was speed and horsepower. And then I had some buddies that convinced me otherwise. And they're like, hey, why don't we put it on bags? Like, well, bags has never been my thing, you know. Not to mention, I just bought these $1,600 coilovers for my car, so why would I want to go bags 2 months after doing it? And me, whenever it comes to car stuff, peer pressure works. So, needless to say, 2 months after putting those coilovers on, we had bags ordered and everything, and we had it bagged right before a show in Texas. Well, after that, I've always wanted to have the car wide body, so I hit all of these performance goals that I wanted, and then I kind of swapped directions and started going for the aesthetics. And then you also have the ones that are only, they only do stuff for the cosmetics, the aesthetics, and everything for it. 100% support for that. 100%. Because there are some monster, crazy builds out there that are just cosmetic. They haven't done anything to the motor and everything like that. Percent. I mean, my my viewpoint, whenever it comes to all that stuff, is you have to do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. I have everybody has their opinion.
Yeah, of course.
And everybody is welcome to their opinion. I'm here.
Hmm.
I love hearing other people's opinions on cars, especially mine. Like, listen, if you have something to critique on my car, tell me, because the problem is that I've probably already seen it. I've probably already critiqued it myself, and I probably already also have like 4 different fixes for the situation. So that's why I don't get upset whenever people critique my car. I build it for me and me alone. And I feel like that's a lot of people in the community have kind of lost that kind of aspect. They're
Hmm.
building it for other people. But once I feel like once you ground yourself and start doing it for you and you alone, one, it makes it a lot easier to do.
It does.
And then you also don't have to worry about those people that are gatekeeping or saying, the respect all builds or don't respect all builds, whichever side of that you fall on. I feel like I stay pretty neutral whenever it really comes to it. So
So
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm ready for it.
I agree, right? I agree on the respect all bills. I'm just gonna be honest because that's just what it's you just gotta be honest. It is some I question big time. Like I just spoke on it recently. It was a Oppo Camry, right? And I wanted to say he had a wing on it. But the wings that kind of like it start like this,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then the wings are like so it's an Oppo Camry, and the only thing he had on it was canards, some kind of like some kind of lip on the front, side skirts. But the wing was just like it was quite I respect it, that's your vision. But I did question it. I ain't saying I judged it. I just questioned it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I do at the end of the day, I do still respect all bills. But I cannot sit and say there has been some that I question.
So,
But I'm like,
yeah. So 100% agree with you. And I will say this, whenever I stay neutral about it, I really do.
"Mhm,
The respect all builds thing, I get it. You
yeah,
you do that so that you want to keep the welcome for people that are new warm, so that they come into it and they can branch out. Not respecting all builds, 100% get that too, because but I feel like the the not respecting all builds part is not really more about the build, it's about the people, is what it comes down to. Because
respectful."
you have people, and I do not mean this in a bad way, but you have people out there that will throw this massive drift wing on a front wheel drive car. And I get it. Like you said, it's their vision. 100%. It's build it for you. Like I said earlier, man, I'm build it for yourself, however you want to build it. But if you come up to me saying, "Hey man, come check out my build," it's crazy. Like I've got this whole vision for it, and I walk up and I'm getting this vibe from you that you're like, you think that you're better than everybody else, man. Go do what you want to do, but that's not me. Like people out there that are doing it for attention and stuff like that, just to see what kind of attention they can get, or if they're rage baiting people, because there's people out there that do that too.
Mhm,
I don't know. With the thing of sounding like an asshole, if you're going to build your car how you want to build it for yourself. But don't come into the scene acting like you're this hot shit guy that just walked up on the corner and that you're better than everybody else, because that is what gets the responses that people get. People are getting upset about the not respecting all builds aspect. That's why people get that.
mhm. I can definitely agree with that too. Because like we literally all start from somewhere. And another thing too that I can speak on, even if you have a nice bill, you took the time, the money, you put everything into your bill. When your bill done, you don't have to be rude about it, or you don't have to look down on every other bill just because it doesn't fit your standard of what a bill
Right.
is.
Right.
And now I also feel like that's also why, a lot of so the car scene is beautiful, but within the car scene, again, I want to say, everybody has a takeover mindset, but you do have the people with egos, like huge egos, and they critique everything about everybody's car. When in all honesty, your car to you, yes, is the best car in your
Mhm.
eyes. But I guarantee there's 1,000 other people that can critique your build the same way that you do other people build. So I feel like that's where the respect all bills come in at because you have them people who think they're just above everybody. They just bigger than the program. They think their car is they think and then in a sense their car becomes their personality in a sense. So, you know, they base everything based off they car, oh well my car this, my car that. Or and it's with all cars, but that's in my opinion, like you just said, I feel like that's where, people don't give respect to some bills because they act like it's just so amazing and it's just so different. And they treat other people fucked up because they feel like their build is perfect. When no build is perfect, if you've been honest.
100%. I could
No build.
I could sit here
I
and go
mean,
over a list of stuff that is imperfect about my car right now. Trust me, it is. I'm
and
OCD
then
about things.
like even if you took the time and you put hours and hours and hours into your bill, and that's a really, it's you can tell it's a really built car, it still isn't perfect. It I just chasing perfect or trying to act like you perfect in this scene is just is toxic. It's very toxic.
100%.
And I just feel like that's another reason why the car scene kind of it's kind of declining also because people like that, it just puts a bad taste on it because your vision isn't the next person's vision, and you shouldn't throw your vision on somebody else's car when it's their car. They're driving the game, not you.
Yeah, gatekeepers, man, gatekeepers.
So I'ma always respect the bills, but when you act like you are bigger than everybody else or you bigger than everything else, that's when you lose me.
Hmm.
Honestly, because I don't want to be associated with that. That's bad as takeovers because now you and then sometimes it be crews of them. They come in they come in a group and they sit around and act like everybody's supposed to just flock to them or flock to their car. And it just paints a bad scene for them, not the car scene for them, because it's like, bro, there's cars out here that look just as good as yours or probably even better than yours, but so you just so stuck up your own ass that you just can't see you can't see like the enjoyment of like everything,
Yeah,
bro.
just
So
just let people enjoy what they're doing. I mean,
for real.
that's really what it comes down to. Just let people enjoy.
And that's what it's all about.
100%.
You know, uh, me and Zoe had a conversation. It was a girl on the podcast. I agree with this. I said every car has its own personality also. So like we are if you in the car scene, your car is a reflection of you. It shows it shows what you represent. You can look at somebody's car and you can kind of tell what kind of person he is based off the car. So your car even still has its own personality. And then I thought you just match it with yours. But some people just really, bro, just make this you can tell because who they are carries into the car and then it carries into what they show you with the car,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
For sure. For sure.
I feel like that too kind of kills the scene for people in the car scene because like if you knew and you come around that crowd, bro, you fully discouraged. And you like, well, damn, like, I thought the car scene was like inviting, but like if it's like this, then I'm good off that. But not everybody like that, and everybody don't get that good welcome. Even if they even if their bill is questionable, you should still like because it'll change. It's probably their first bill. Like they're probably just checking stuff out on their first bill. They probably just getting the feel of the car scene. We all try stuff that's questionable.
Yeah.
That's why I say, bro. That's why I say nothing is nobody's perfect. We all try things that's questionable. So like that's it's just a lesson of like you learn, you look back, you're like, yeah, gang, I know what I was thinking about when I did that. I did it and I'm here now. So
everything
but we all make mistakes, bro,
everything's a stepping stone. So
for sure.
you just gotta go your own path, man. And I feel like I feel like a lot of people have lost. I say a lot of people. I feel like parts of the community have kind of lost that aspect of making things their own because they see what other people have done. They're like, okay, I really like what this person did. So now instead of taking inspiration from their build and then making it their own or something like that, Instead, they see this path that's already carved out for them. Like, oh well, this person did it. I'm just going to do what they did and kind of take the easy way out,
Hmm.
which I think is 100% the wrong. That is not what the car community is supposed to be. Now, again,
Not at all.
it goes back to like, if that's what you want to do it. It's your build. At the end of the day, it's your time, it's your money. But that it kind of sucks that that's what it seems like a lot of things are falling back to. Now, there's tons of builds out there that are super unique and
Big time, bro.
stuff like that. So hopefully, hopefully things kind of start getting turned around and we start seeing more unique builds and stuff popping up, because obviously some of these builds that are have been around for years, and I'm not gonna
And
sit here and say that the
uh,
car scene kind of seems like it's dying a little bit, but hopefully it picks back up. That's what I look forward to.
hopefully Facebook up. Same. And then just one small thing to touch back on: the people who critique everybody build, right? If they truly think about what they're saying, you're telling somebody else to build their car exactly how you build your car, which then makes your car not unique as it used to be because now you got copy and paste everywhere.
Hmm.
If you put in your vision on everybody's car, eventually you start to see the same build everywhere you go. So I don't think they truly think about what they sending out because you're telling people what I would have did or what you should or what you should. So basically you telling me to build your car on my car. So now so I don't like it's common sense. Like you tell somebody to build your vision on their car. Now it's everywhere. And now we saying, oh, well, the car scene now is basically copy and paste.
There's a lot of responsibility that comes
Oh,
with being somebody that I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna say it like this. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with being somebody that everybody looks up to, like having a top
well,
notch car of a certain category, like your Evos or your SDIs or whatever Civics. It doesn't matter the model. There's somebody out there that you or me or whoever has looked up to, like, man, his car is exactly what I've kind of pictured my car to be. You go talk to him for inspiration or something like that, and they're a dick about it. Like, oh well, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I don't, there's a lot of responsibility of being that person that people come to for information, and a lot of people don't think about it that way.
great.
So it's not just the people that have been around for a long time. There's a lot of responsibility that kind of sits with y'all, and a lot of people don't think about it. So it's not just the younger side that's kind of chopping away at the foundation. It's you know, the older people that have been around for years. There's a lot of responsibility that sits with them too. So
Big time.
correcting or fixing what the car community was, what it's become, falls on both ends. And at least that's my opinion of it. I'm just one person in a giant pool of a lot of people. So
No, but I agree to that though, because I literally just seen a video on Instagram where it was a dad and the son, right? And I think the dude rap was either starting to come off or could be like a chip, like a rock hit it and it chipped out some of the rap. But the dad was just like, oh, yeah, look at this piece of shit. Like, I guarantee he can't afford to fix it. You're starting him off young by judging everybody's vehicle. What's the point of going out there? What's the point in that? The only thing you doing is just bringing more negativity to something what we're trying to make positive.
100%.
So I'm looking at the video and I'm just like, if we're teaching them this young, the only thing we're doing is dooming the car scene already. Because now, and then bro, build every car, like I say, won't be perfect. Everybody's still in a building point. You can have your car fully done and something happen and you take it to a show and they're like, oh well shit, why you came outside? Well, that's broke. Bro, it's all the part of the car's journey and your journey. Things happen, bro. Life If life perfect all the time, that's boring. Just being honest, because then you have no challenges. You have nothing to get over. You have nothing to overcome. Nothing to learn from. So like it's the same with a car. Like things go happen that just out of your control. But
Everything's a process. Everything's a process, and like you were saying, it's the process that really makes the project worth it to you. And the hardships and stuff that you're going to go through with your project are going to make memories to you that last the rest of your life. That you can always look back on, like, man, I ran into this issue and I really didn't know what to do, but I figured it out. And so now it just makes that car a bigger part of you, and that's
big
really
time,
that's
bro.
really what it's all about. I mean, that's why we do it. People that are into cars,
Hmm.
that's end of the day, that's why we do it. We're trying to take this machine and make it a part of ourselves. And the whole time we're doing it, we know we're going to get shit from people, especially people that aren't car people. Like you pull up to, I think, no, I do this car, I do everything to this car for myself. But whenever you pull up to a gas station and you've got this old guy that's in like his 80s that you can kind of tell like they don't know anything about cars, or they used to be this old head that was just super into hot rods and stuff like that, like these old muscle cars and stuff like that. But whenever you pull up to a gas station and they come up to you and they're like, young man, that's a really nice car that you've got there, and they start asking about the history of it and everything, that is the absolute best feeling in the world. Like I cannot live that up enough. And you've got kids that come up and look at your car, talking to their moms or their dads or whoever they're with. It's just, we do it for ourselves, but stuff like that, you just can't live it down, man. It's crazy.
Mm-mm.
That is a rush that just never goes away. So I'm telling you, like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
And personally speaking, I feel like every part, like every new part you put on your car, bro, it's just it's another story that you get to tell about everything. Like you just said, when somebody come and they ask you about like every piece that you done to the car, bro, it's like damn, like I get to sit and tell the story of like how I got here, what I was going through, or like why I put that part, or like what influenced me to put that part. So it is like every single step you take with your car, bro, is there just it's a part of your journey that you get to tell later in life. And it's a reflection of like you looking back and be like, damn, like it was a time where this car was like fucked up. And like even me me and the car was fucked up. But like now looking back on it, I didn't give up on it. I kept it. I kept working on it. I kept fixing it because in the process, now, like some people don't understand. Like, if you're a car person, you definitely understand this. In certain points in life, when your car break down, you break down. You know what I mean? But then, like, as you build your car up, you build yourself back up. Not just because of the car, but because it's like, okay, well, I'm making progress in something. So life going good in some fashion. So, and then the car just right there, like you already attached to the car. So it's just like you just build it with you and the car just constantly building together, bro. And like when somebody asks you about that, bro, it's very meaningful because now like you get to reflect on like what you've been through with that car. So
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times, I've been going through a rough spot mentally, or maybe I'm just physically wore out from work or something like that. And I'm like, the car's been having these problems, but, maybe I'll get it out and drive it today. And again, the amount of gas station stories every car person probably has is just never ending. Like there's an infinite number of possibilities there. But um, there was there was one time I was going through some shit. My car was giving me troubles. I'm like, let me go out here and work on it a little bit. Maybe I can get it running and everything, and I'll take it out to town, put some gas in it. Just something to see kind of where we're sitting at. Came out, car started right up. It's been giving me fits for like a week, and car started right up. I'm like, this piece of shit, man. I'm telling you. Jump in the car, drive up to the gas station, which this was the car's on flex fuel now. I try to keep E85 as much as I can just because that's really what the system's set up for. But we were still on 93 at the time, which was a lot simpler, by the way. Anybody who's considering going E85, unless you have a purpose for doing it, don't. Because around here we have two gas stations within like, with, I think, aside from those, which they're about 30 minutes from my house and they're right down the road from each other. The next closest place that has E85 is an hour and 15 minutes from me. Terrible
Mm.
mistake. Terrible mistake. But or I went up to the gas station and it was one of those situations like, you've got this old guy that comes up. I pulled up to the pump and I was just kind of sitting there letting the car idle for a little bit because I was just dreading getting out. It was cold outside at the time. And before I even get out, this old guy walks up to the car and he's looking it over and everything. And he sits there and he compliments me on the build. We have like a 5-minute conversation, and then we go our separate ways. And you sit back down in the car, and it's stuff like that. Like, it motivated me to come out and actually work on the car because I was dreading it. I be honest with you, I hate working on this car. That's how much I've worked on the car. I've gotten to the point that I hate working on it, but you just go through your
Right.
phases and stuff, your highs and lows. Like I was telling you the other day, I've had some stuff that I've needed to do to the car for a while now, and I just haven't had the motivation to do it. Um, but I decided last week, I'm like, I'm going to go out and get these oil lines put on, kind of do some troubleshooting. We've been having some, I say we, whenever I'm saying we, it's me and my tuner for the car because I'm on the phone with him all the time about the problems that we're having. Um, we've been having some electrical issues. The car's just not charging the way it's supposed to for whatever reason. Brand new alternator and all that stuff. And a lot of stuff has also been on the car for 4 years, so it's to the point where things need to be replaced. And I've been telling myself for weeks that I just need to go out and do it, and I haven't done it. So that was the goal for today. I was like, all right, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do these oil lines and everything, and actually make some progress because getting to the point, you overthink all the problems that you've got, which makes you dread
Mm-hmm.
going out and working on it. But once you actually get out there and start working on it, everything disappears. All your problems, at least your personal problems, disappear. The problems with the car then come to the forefront, but at least those are a lot
Oh
more static.
man.
At least those are a lot more static, and they're not all over the place like life usually is. So, but completing and fixing those problems makes everything better in the end. And you always think back.
It does.
You always think back to these people, just random strangers that either are or aren't into cars. Honestly, I think it means more whenever they're not the cars. People that are complimenting your build and stuff while you're sitting at a gas station.
Oh yeah, for sure.
These people that don't know anything about the car scene come up and compliment it. Like, that's crazy. Like, you pulled these people out of their normal routine,
Mm-hmm.
and they came over and complimented your car just for them to fall back into it. Like, that's meaningful to me.
Bro, it really is. And that's why I said, like, if you're a car person, like the smallest compliment about your car, bro, means everything. Because it's
Everything.
like you don't put in so much work, or you know, like my car, bro. I'm not to you. If I can tell my car to put his hands up, bro, I swear to God, bro, we would fight. We would literally throw hands all day, bro.
Every day.
But when you get, because I was leaving Jacksonville once, and I was leaving Jacksonville coming back to Daytona. Now, bro, I'm just chilling, bro. Just vibing, right? I'm probably doing like 90, bro. Just one of them days, bro, where it just feel good outside, bro. Like music going, bro. I'm just chilling, bro. Just in and out, just chilling, bro. Like not too like too bad where it's dangerous, but bro, I'm just cruising, bro. And then my phone vibrate. And I'm like, okay, I'm driving, music going, so I ain't paying no mind. Then it vibrated again. And I'm like, I still ignored it. Then it vibrated again. So I'm like, bro, like, who is this? So then I check it, bro. So I'm like this. I'm driving, but I'm like this. I'm looking. And it's a dude on the side of me. He was like, damn, bro, like, check your phone. And I look over him, and he's like, bro, it sound good, bro. Like, it sound real good. And I'm just like, I'm like, thank you, bro. And then he was like, man, he was like, hit it. Take his phone out and record it. So I threw in a manual, and I just hit it. And I started going through the gears for him. Then after that, bro, we just started just riding together, bro, for a good little minute. We just riding. I'm in the car like
See, this is what it's really all
that has
about.
made,
Yeah. This is what it's all about. Yeah, yeah,
bro. It made that drive so much funner because then eventually some girl in the BMW and Type R eventually joined us, bro. And bro, we just floating, bro. And then every time I got off, bro, we gave him the nod, bro, and kept going. But that's what it's about, bro. Like things like that, bro. Like just if you're not into cars, bro, it might seem overrated, bro, but bro, that's the best feeling, bro.
yeah. 100%. Love those moments.
That's definitely the best feeling, bro. For real. That's why I'm excited. It's off topic, but in a little bit, I'm gonna start going to I'm gonna start taking the podcast to like actually like car meets, and I'm gonna do them like in person. So I still be doing like podcasts like this, and then I'm start going to car meets, start doing them like in person, and hopefully, not hopefully, I think that'd be dope. It'll give everybody that experience, quick like little quick interviews and stuff like that. But the other thing I'm working on, also off topic, is you from where again?
Western Kentucky.
Okay, so you're the first person from Kentucky I want to say I had on the podcast, right? But I know for a fact it won't be the last. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build up a community. Everybody I have a podcast at, or somebody I have a podcast with, I'm trying to build up a community there. That way, like, if you're ever out and you want to like go to a meet or you want to just go hang out and do something car related, you can have somebody from this community to go out and hang with. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
100%.
Or like you go to like a car meet with. And then I want to start sponsoring car meets in different areas. Even if I can't be there, I still just want to sponsor it. That way, it's just a way to bring the car scene back together. So I know that'd be hard to do, but it's something that I'm working on because I want to see it actually happen and come to life. Because it'd be dope. Like it'd be dope to give people friends from this podcast. But like I say, and then if you notice, bro, I always say we when I speak about the podcast because it's I always say the podcast isn't just mine. It's a space I want everybody to feel like they own to because
Right.
I want it to be a true community, like for people to come have a safe place. So I'm trying to just build it to where like the next person from Kentucky, I can I can like okay, well I had Dustin on the other day and he was from Kentucky. And I could tell them about your bill. And then I'm like, well, shoot, if y'all ever want to hang out or do anything correlated, get some rollers, nice photo shoot. You got somebody there to like that you can meet, and who knows what can come of that.
Yeah, man. I mean,
So
that's how all this stuff started originally, back in the day, whenever the first day was that a first car meet or something like that happened. That's how it starts. You give everybody a central point to kind of work around and it just builds from there.
it really does. So I'm just going for it. Bro. I got a lot of plans for it. I also plan on traveling next year. So like if I was to throw a car meet somewhere in the area next year, we can actually meet up in person and do it again.
I've been looking for a reason to come down to Florida. I've got a buddy that lives in Tampa. That's just a really long drive. Last time I drove to Tampa was a couple years ago, and it's a 13-hour drive for me.
Oh,
It
yeah,
took me
that's
19 hours to drive to Tampa. And I'm going to say this, it was all because of freaking Georgia. Freaking Georgia. I told myself after that, I will never go through Georgia again. And it wasn't, as a car person, and I'm sure as a lot of the community knows, Atlanta is typically terrible to drive through. Everything about Atlanta, to me, pulling a trailer is terrible. Atlanta wasn't even the worst part. It was outside of Atlanta on both sides of it. Between the time that I entered Georgia and then exited Georgia, there were 12 wrecks, and they were all outside of Atlanta. Like, come on, man. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? So
I said we can't drive, bro.
it was,
I hear horror stories about it.
it was
About
so,
them, bro.
so bad, so bad. But memories, man. That's what it all turns into. Now, I'm never going to have memories through there again. There are car shows in Atlanta that I want to go through, that I want to go to. Um, what is it? Caffeine and octane or something like that is like one of the biggest cars and coffees in the nation. They have uh, once a month. I really want to go to
Mm,
that. I've heard a lot of really good things about it. But I've also told myself that from now on, whenever I'm going to Florida, I'm going down and over instead of, you know, down through Atlanta because it was that one. It was bad enough that I don't ever want to do it
yeah, but all it takes is one, bro. All it takes is one experience. You
one
like, nah,
time.
never.
One time. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
and sometime next year, I might do it at the end of the year, around like this time of the year. Well, not this time, but well, close to it. So the next goal I have is I want to bring every single person that came on the podcast together in one spot and just throw a huge card.
Hmm. I'm down for
So,
that, man.
like I say,
100%.
like I know it's a stretch, but I just feel like it could definitely work, and that would be like a not even just for me. I'll fight for everybody involved. It'd be dope because everybody that came on the podcast, like when you sit after you tell your story and get like your opinions about everything, how you feel about the car scene and like just how you got into it, we can sit back and say we literally all have the same passion for it. You know what I mean? And like we all want to meet new people. We all want to like just it'd be something in life that, like a first hand experience. Like, okay, well, I met you virtually through the podcast, but like now it's like full circle. Like now like we here, we meet each other, we have like this whole meet together. So I do want to bring the podcast to real life for everybody involved, bro. Just to have fun and just to enjoy the cause, bro.
100%. Let's do it. I'm down. I'll make a trip. I'll make a trip. I will.
Well, man,
I'll risk Atlanta again to go down. So why not? Why not? There's
I was
there.
saying it, bro. Like I said, I'm gonna send you everything, like really everything I'm working on. I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna show you. You can give me like your honest opinion about it, because that's all I want. I just want. If it seemed too far fetched, bro, like I say, when I dream, bro, I dream big. I hold nothing back.
That's
So
that's what you got to do, man. Set the set the standard for yourself. You have to set the standards high. I mean, that's the only
mhm,
way that people accomplish.
it is. But I'm gonna show you everything though. So I got two more questions for you. Then I think we're done for today. So okay, well no, I kind of skipped over something. So you have your car is wide body and is asphalt, right?
Hmm. Yep.
I'm gonna be sure to show that in the video when I post it. But going forward, what's next for you? Either it be the same bill or new bill, just what's next for you?
Um, right now we're on a goal. The biggest goal that I've got right now with the car is 1,000 horsepower. We were that was whenever I decided to go twins. That was the goal that we had. Um, and like I said, we kind of ran into some problems. We got the twin set up, put on, we got everything plumbed and lined. And first run on the dyno, we started losing oil pressure. Um, didn't really think anything of it at the time because I had changed up the way that my oil system was ran, moved some things around, so we didn't really think much of it. But as we did a few more pulls, um, we started hitting safeties, oil pressure safeties, which we have never ever hit in this car. The 2 years. So I had an LS2 in the car before. It was in for about a year, and then I got an LQ9, which is a 6 liter also, and had it built, forged internals, the whole 9 yards. It was in the car for 2 years, and in the 2 years of that motor had been in the car, we had never hit an oil pressure safety ever. So it kind of started pushing us towards the fact that something is going wrong. And again, this was like a week before Slam Enough Gatlinburg. Not even that. I mean, it was the day that I went and picked it up from my tuner. It was 5 days. Like it was 5 days before we were supposed to leave, and that was a Saturday. So Sunday rolled around, and I finally decided, like, all right, look, I guess we're just gonna go for it. So That was whenever we swapped the 4.8 into it. Now, for those of you that don't know, you can get 1,000 horsepower out of a stock block 4.8, even a 5.3. So the goal was to hit 1,000. With the 6 liter, we were going to shoot for a little bit more than that. Like everything, the twin setup is built for a 6 liter. It's not really set up for a 4.8. That 4.8's kind of a little doggy down bottom, but the goal is still there to hit 1,000. Right now, like I said, we're running into some electrical issues, and we're getting a lot of chatter on the dynograph. So we're getting a vibration somewhere in the system that we have to find. But right now, that's the goal. We're still shooting for 1,000, and if the 4.8 gives out before we get there, then I guess I'm just going to go drop another $500 on another 4.8 and keep going for it. Luckily, they're like a dime a dozen. Um, but really, that's it. Kind of, sitting here thinking about it, it kind of sucks that that's the only thing that's on the plate right now. But I mean, we've got Stupid Cold for Slam Enough is in a few weeks, and really the next show after that for me is going to be Riverside in Chattanooga. For anybody that's local to that, um, it's about time for me to change the color on the car again. This blue has actually been on it for like 2 years, which is the longest that I've kept any color on the car. Before that, it was
Okay.
this. It was a Granny Smith apple green with like a pearl to it. I really miss that green. I really want to go back to that. But I've got a few colors that I'm looking at. And I think it's time to change the color on it because I get bored of colors really quick. So,
True.
there's always this laundry list of things that you want to do to your car, but
Mhm.
like I said, really right now it's just shooting for 1,000. That is what I want the most right now is to hit 1,000 horsepower. And really it's just one of those to say that I did it, and then we're going to back it back down because no purpose in having 1,000 horsepower in a weekend driver or even daily driving kind of car.
Yeah,
So there's just,
that'd
and
be crazy work.
gas is expensive. So
Yeah, bro.
this car, like I said, I'm running on E, so I'm only paying 185 a gallon, but I've got a 22-gallon
And
fuel
that's
cell in the back of this car, and I'm lucky to get 180 miles out of that 22-gallon fuel cell before I have to fill back up. The map there on fuel mileage is bad,
yeah,
bad. You know, like 8 miles a gallon, something like that. So
something like that. That's close to what I get in my car, but that's just cause how I drive it.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't. No, that's with me like babying this car. That's with
Oh,
like
really?
staying out of it. If I'm in it, what is fuel mileage? If I'm in it, what is fuel
Uh,
mileage? It's bad.
all right. So, what about the car scene that keeps you pulled into it? Like, what makes you want to stay within the car scene?
Um, I told you earlier that I've been lucky enough to get into some of these groups, Slammed Enough or Stature. I'm part of Stature now, still part of Slammed Enough, but it's it's all the friends that I've made, man. There's so many people that I've met out there that live on different sides of the country or Genesis Coupe owners even. I've met all of these people through the car scene that have become really good friends of mine. The family aspect, people that if I had something happen and I needed help, I know that I could reach out and like, hey, I need help with this. I don't really know what to do, and so on and so forth. But really, I think that's what it comes down to, man. It's just all the people that I've met, the memories that we've built, the friendships and stuff like that is really what keeps me coming around. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. There's been times where I've thought about just kind of backing up and pulling myself out of the car scene, but I don't think that I would ever be able to 100% pull myself out. I might keep like a lower face or something, but it's hard to give up all those memories that you've built with people, the friendships, you know, stuff like that. I really feel like that's what does it. I can tell you that building the project is not what keeps me into it because, you know, I'm trying to think of how to explain this without making it too complicated. Um, there's always stuff to do to your car. Whenever you have a project car, it never ends. It
Mm-mm.
doesn't matter what you're doing. Like you might reach a point that you think, okay, I've done everything I can to this car that I want to do. But then there's always something else that pops up. That is not what keeps me into it. It's like I said, the memories, the friendships, all these people that you've met that are from completely different parts of the world, or completely different little cliques of how their car builds are. It's crazy how you can build, bring people together with stuff like that. Like I said, I come from um, like mud trucks and drag racing and stuff like that. I come from that kind of background, and I mean, you see where the car's at now. The horsepower and the speed is still there, but now I'm bagged and wide bodied. Like that's not something that I ever, for the longest time, I ever saw me doing. But I've met people that have always been that part, on that side of things, like bagged and stanced out. It's just it's hard to it's hard to really top that. It's hard to really top that, making these friendships with people. So
I can agree, bro. I can, cause I have met some really good friends. Like, so again, a gas station, right? It was one night my brother needed something from the gas station, and I was bored, so I just like, know what, freak it. So we went for a drive. Now I drive a '08 Mercedes CS 550, right?
yeah,
Love that car, bro. Love that car. So when I got to the gas station, seen a I seen a C350, but he had a spoiler on it. It was a nice ass red, bro. It was like it was aesthetic wise, bro. It was nice. So the dude came to the pump, and I started talking to him about his car. Then he turned it on, and it had some sound to it. I'm like, oh, okay, like, bro, it's nice. So his name Kane, and I've known Kane for going on two years now. But I met him again, gas station, car like just at the gas station. But we've been like real good friends now. And I met a dude named Rome, dude named Justin, Alyssa, John, say two Johns. Like I've met a lot of people within the car scene, bro. And from this podcast, I could say I've made some really good friends from this podcast. So it is crazy how like just that aspect of the car scene really keeps you like tied to it because bro, you meet some beautiful people, bro, and like who knows what comes from the friendships. Like networking is crazy too, bro.
100%.
It like I feel like that's a part of the car scene that don't get showed at all. Like you don't get to see like that kind of like you just don't get to see that side of the car scene because it's not shown. And that's also why I made this podcast was for like those exact moments to be brought to the surface the way everybody see how everybody came up through the car scene, what it mean to them, what it mean to us. That's just why I built this too because like we can all relate to that, and you just make more friends because of that. So that's what it's really all about when it comes to this podcast, bro. And then the last question we have for today is I ask everybody that come on the podcast this question. If you could put a message on the billboard for the car scene, what would it be?
That is a tough one. Um, don't ever give up on what you're trying to do. Um, if you're going to start, you know, if you're going to start somewhere, once you start, just keep going. You're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to run into people that don't want you to succeed. End of the day, like I've said quite a few times, you have to do it for yourself. But don't ever give up. That is the absolute. If there was one message that I could just drill into everybody's head, especially starting out, is that you're gonna fail. It's not if you're gonna fail; it's when you're gonna fail. There are 100 times that you're gonna fail building these cars, or even trying to find a spot that you fit in at. Um, you have to get back up and just keep going. And that doesn't really just pertain to cars. That's life. So,
Big time.
like I said, if there was one thing that I could just drill into everybody's head, is just to never give up. You have to set your sights on what you want to do and don't ever let it go. You just have to keep going, man. Doesn't really matter what you're doing, whether it's cars, motorcycles, truck. Once you set that goal for yourself, no matter how many times you get knocked down, no matter how many roadblocks or obstacles you run into, you just have to keep going. Get back up and keep doing it.
Respect to that, because you definitely have to. Like, it was a point. It was a point where I was trying to get people to come onto the podcast, bro, for a good like 2 weeks straight, bro. Either I got left on Revert, I got left on red. They would text back and be like, "Yeah, I'm interested." Then that was it. So for 2 weeks straight, bro, I couldn't find. Actually, like 3 weeks straight, I couldn't find like no bookings at all, right? But I kept going. I just kept DMing, bro, I kept trying. And you make our 14th guest.
I'm happy to be here, man, for sure. And
It's an honor, bro.
going off that, a lot of people, what I've noticed, just kind of people that I've talked to, a lot of people see failures as the end of it. But the way I look at it, the roadblocks that I've hit with this, there was a time whenever I was first building the car, um, I've done everything on this car. Uh, I've done 95% of everything on this car myself. I didn't build the motors because one, I don't trust myself to do it, and I'm super picky about stuff. So where I could just pay somebody to build the motor for me and do it right, it might take them a day. It would take me forever because I would sit there and second guess everything. But in the process of initially doing the swap, we got everything in the car and it was ready to start. And it started, but it wasn't running right. And we couldn't figure out what the problem was. So I ended up taking it to somebody to try to help me troubleshoot. Couldn't figure out what the problem was, like the exact problem, but we had an idea. And, the car sat for 4 or 5 months after that while we were waiting for a part to be made from Holly, or MSD technically, but Holly owns MSD. So they were coming out with this new part. Like, that's the bad thing, is like the guy that I took it to, he knows people that works there, but they're like, look, we have this part in development, but it's not released yet. So ends up the reluctor wheel on my crank was bent. So the timing was all sorts of off for my motor, and that's why it wouldn't run. That's why it wouldn't run right. So the option there's two options. I can wait for this part to come out from MSD, which we had no idea on the release date. We knew that it was kind of projected within a couple months, but we didn't know when. So we could do that, or we could pull the motor, tear the motor apart again, and put another crankshaft in it, which was going to be significantly more expensive, but it would have been a lot quicker too. A lot of people, I feel like, would look at as all right, well, this just isn't going to happen. I don't have the money to sit there and pull the motor and rebuild it again. But at the same time, my impatience is like, I really want to get this car done, so I don't want to have to wait however many months for an unknown time frame that the part was going to be released. A lot of people would take that as all right, well, let's just put the car on the back burner and I'll come back to it whenever.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, that's not what I did. We ended up waiting for the part, and I probably would have had the car done in 6 or 7 months ish, give or take. It ended up taking me a year to get the car driving because of that. We ended up having to wait 2 or 3 months for the part to come out that we were waiting for. Ended up fixing it. You know, the guy that I took it to, Bill Alvis, out of Eddyville, which is 30 minutes south of me, a good friend of mine. Ended up taking it to him. He had the car for a while, troubleshooting and stuff like that. And then once that part came out from MSD, I was lucky enough. Like I said, he knew some people and I got super lucky, got like the first one off the line to see if it was even going to fix it. Now, this part was like $400. So once it was
Mm.
bought, it was bought. Like there was no sending it back. So it was, we had just kind of crossed our fingers and hoped that it was going to fix it, because otherwise the only other option would be to pull the motor. So Bill threw the part on, got everything kind of lined up in the tune for a base map to get the car started, fired right up. First try. The relief was crazy. But,
Hmm.
you know, if I had been the person to say, all right, the car's fucked, I don't have the money to put another motor in it and so on, like I've already dropped $3,000 into this LS2 to get it rebuilt. What do you do? But some people would have given up at that point, or taken it as a sign and then put the car on the back burner to do some other stuff or something like that. But that's why I say, you can't take the roadblocks and the failures as a reason to stop. You just have to keep going. You know, if you need to
Gotta
step
keep going.
if you need to take a step back and think about it, think of some options. That's one thing, but don't get complacent about it, or I guess complacent's the word. That might not be the word to use there, but don't get discouraged. If you run into obstacles, just take it as a reason to push harder. Because once you get through the obstacle, it's going to be that
Learn
much
something.
more, and just have to keep going, man. Like you're like with the dream you're talking about with this facility and stuff for the podcast and all this, you set your goal and you've got your eyes locked onto it. There's no telling how many roadblocks you're gonna hit along the way. So,
Yeah.
but it's pretty clear that you've already got your mind set on it, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When you're gonna get
Yeah.
there. So just have to keep pushing. Get up, try again, and try again, and try again. The only time that you legitimately fail is whenever you decide to quit.
That's very well said because they I think they failed when it didn't work the first time. But a lot of things don't work the first time. But when you actually give up and you say, "No, I'm done trying," that's when you actually fail because just look at the people's success stories. God dang, it took them 100 tries. It took them 1,000 tries. But and failing, there's nothing wrong with failing in life, and I want people to truly understand that because every time you fail, the only thing it does is makes you better. So if you okay with learning and you okay with trying to be better and you trying to grow something, just it sounds crazy, but just keep failing. Because the only thing you'll do is you'll just get better and better and you'll learn, okay, well last time I did this, so now let me switch it up. And the more you switch it up, the more you find the right recipe for what you're trying to do. So you're definitely right, bro. Once you actually give up and you just say fuck I'm done with it, that's when you truly fail. But when you keep going, you're not failing because everybody's seeing how hard you're working to get there, bro. So you just truly gotta just keep going.
That's all you can do, man. Get up and keep going.
It it really is. But if there's anything you want to bring up, um, you can now. Or if you're done for the day, I'll let you get to the bill. Um,
I don't think,
again, bro, I'm really
yeah, I don't really think I've got anything. We talked about quite a bit actually, so it was a good conversation to have. I definitely appreciate you having me on here, and
no, bro. I am very honored, bro.
I look forward to all the other podcasts, that the other people that you're going to have on. It's always good seeing other people's opinions about everything.
It is. And if you're down for whenever I do the next guest, the next set of five, I have the next set of five I already set. I just gotta find a date when everybody's free to come on. But within the next five, if you want to come back with that five, I'd love to have you come back on with that five.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Shoot me a message or something like that. I'd love to come back.
I will. For sure, bro. I will, bro. Again, bro, I'm honored for your time. Truly, it means a lot. I'm glad you came and told your story. I can say I made a new friend again. So again, after this podcast, I gotta send you everything I'm working on because I want you to see it, see the vision of what I'm trying to build forward. But I do. I thank you. It means a lot. And again, I'm honored to have you on this podcast, that part of this growing community.
I appreciate it, man. 100%. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you, bro. You have a very best day, bro.
Hey, you too, man. You too.
All right. Again, I thank everybody for coming out who watched. I thank everybody for being a part of this growing community. I just want to say thank y'all for your time. Thank you for watching. Because again, I don't have a voice. This podcast doesn't have a community without y'all. So I just want to say thank you. And we got to give credit though to that bill. Like, just look at it. Uh, bro, that's nice, bro.
Yeah, I
It's a
appreciate it, man.
beautiful bill. But I'm gonna let everybody go for today. And just remember, this is your car, it's your story. But this is our community. Thank you, and everybody have a blessed day.